The courtroom was packed, every seat filled, every eye fixed on the man in handcuffs. Marcus Reed stood before the bench, chin high, wrists locked together in cold metal. The fluorescent lights above flickered like they were mocking him. Behind the judge's desk, the state seal stared down like a warning. Judge Holloway leaned forward, amusement curling across his lips. "So, you're defending yourself." He chuckled, loud, dismissive. "Is this supposed to be a stand-up routine?" Laughter rippled across the room. Prosecutors smirked. Officers shook their heads. Even a few jurors couldn't hide their grins. Marcus didn't respond. Not yet. The judge tapped his gavel against the wood, still grinning. No attorney, no counsel, not even a public defender. Marcus breathed once. Calm, controlled. Then he raised his eyes, sharp as a blade. "The comedy," he said softly, "begins when I win." The laughter died instantly. No one knew who he really was. They only saw a black man in cuffs. They had no idea the monster they just awakened. Marcus Reed didn't come from wealth. He came from street corners where children learned to drop to the ground to the sound of gunshots before they learned to count. His mother scrubbed floors until her fingers cracked, just to keep the lights on. She always said he'd become somebody. She didn't live long enough to see how right she was. Even as a kid, Marcus kept a dictionary like other boys kept trading cards. Debates were his arena. Words were his weapon. Harvard law was his battlefield. He stepped into those holes with second-hand clothes and unmatched brilliance. Professors learned his name quickly. Students envied him quietly. Judges respected him immediately. He believed in justice. Then justice killed his mother. Denied insurance. Denied treatment. Denied time. While others signed papers that took lives, Marcus fought cases that saved them. Public defender. Defender of those the world forgot. He became a problem to people who profited from silence. And one of those people was Vernon Pike. Pike was a billionaire smiling over stolen homes and broken elderly tenants. Marcus built a case that could bury him alive. Pike's lawyers laughed, until they didn't, because Marcus Reed wins. So Pike cheated. One night, Marcus's office was torn apart, files missing, hard drives gone. His own desk turned into a crime scene. Cops stormed his apartment. Guns drawn, faces hostile, cameras ready. They drag him out like a trophy, charge him with the very fraud he exposed. The media drenched itself in the scandal. Bright star fallen, black lawyer caught dirty, system relieved. They thought he'd beg for help. They thought he'd cry for a lawyer. But Marcus only smiled. "I'll represent myself." Day one in court. The judge's eyes gleamed with condescension. Judge Holloway enjoyed watching pro se defendants fail, especially when they looked like Marcus. The prosecutor, Jenna Rhodes, radiated confidence, polished hair, polished smile, polished ambition. She had already written her victory speech in her head. Her first witness, Officer Maddox, the arresting officer, system loyalist. He raised his right hand proudly. He swore Marcus forged documents and kept them in his home. Marcus approached calmly. "Officer Maddox," he asked, "did you have a warrant?" The officer blinked. "Stole. Sweat." Rhodes stood immediately. "Objection." But Marcus slid a paper across the bench, an internal report showing no warrant had ever been issued. Illegal search. Illegal evidence. The judge's smirk faltered. One question. One crack in the wall. The next witness, a bank manager claiming Marcus forged loan signatures. Marcus projected emails onto the courtroom screen. Emails sent from Pike's executive office. A subtle victory, a growing shift. Then a handwriting specialist declared the forged signatures were Marcus's. Marcus calmly placed his Harvard law thesis beside them. "You're telling me the same man who wrote this." He pointed at a razor-sharp penmanship. "Writes numbers like a toddler." The jury laughed this time. At the prosecution. The judge no longer made jokes. Perhaps justice wasn't stupid after all. It was simply asleep, and Marcus was waking it up. Then came the drive. A USB allegedly full of forged documents. Fingerprints they claimed belonged to Marcus. Rhodes looked triumphant again. "Your Honor, this is a cornerstone of our case." Marcus stepped forward. "Your Honor, this is a cornerstone of conspiracy." He lifted the chain of custody file. One signature stood out. the cop who illegally searched his home. Marcus turned toward the jury. His voice deepened, calm but thunderous. This evidence was planted. Shock, murmur, fear spreading like wildfire. The judge adjusted his glasses with shaking fingers. This wasn't a naive defendant. This was a predator who spoke law like poetry. Rhodes looked like she could feel her career dying. Marcus wasn't done. I called Vernon Pike to the stand. The courtroom gasped. Pike entered smiling like a man who owned the world. His watch glinted. His shoes gleamed. His soul rotted. Marcus approached the stand slowly. Mr. Pike, do you deny forging signatures on eviction contracts? I do. Marcus unveiled documents bearing identical imprint marks from the same rubber stamp Pike's office used. Do you deny bribing housing inspectors? I do. Marcus displayed photographs, Pike sliding envelopes into government hands. Faces in the jury grew hard. Eyes sharpened. And do you deny instructing Officer Maddox to plant evidence in my home? Pike inhaled, ready to laugh. That's... Marcus pressed a button. A recording echoed across the courtroom. Pike's voice. Perfectly clear. Perfectly damning. Just get rid of the evidence. He's only a public defender. No one will believe him. The jury froze. Rhodes froze. Judge Holloway froze. Marcus didn't blink. You framed me, he said. The world finally listened. The courthouse exploded with consequences. Maddox, arrested in handcuffs, rage boiling in his eyes. Pike, escorted out, mask of power ripped away. Rhodes, reduced to silence, shame-swallowing ambition. Camera crews flooded the steps outside. News headlines flipped overnight. Framed lawyer exposes corruption. Public defender destroys prosecution's case. Victims of eviction scandal discovered. Survivors stepped forward. Elderly tenants who lost homes and hope. Marcus spoke their names. He restored their dignity. The city trembled. A reckoning began. The verdict day came. The air tasted electric. The jury foreman rose, hands trembling. We find the defendant not guilty. Thunderous applause. Taze. Relief that hit harder than any sentence could. Judge Holloway cleared his throat, voice barely steady. Mr. Reed, I misjudged you, and I apologize. Marcus looked at him. No anger, no spite, just the truth. Bias is the first conviction every black man faces. The judge said nothing more. What could he say? Offers came instantly. A book deal, a professorship positions on national reform boards. Marcus rejected them all. Instead, he returned to the neighborhood that raised him and opened a free legal clinic. His first clients were the people Pike tried to erase. The forgotten, the unheard. On his wall hung a single frame quote. They laughed because they saw a defendant. They stopped laughing when they saw the truth. Below it sat a gavel-dotted gift from Judge Holloway, a reminder that justice is not blind. Justice chooses not to see certain people, unless someone forces its eyes open. Marcus Reed became that force. The man they mocked became the nightmare the corrupt now fear. And he never forgot the moment it all shifted, the moment the judge laughed, not knowing the man before him once walked the halls of Harvard Law and walked back with a vow not to destroy the law, to make it finally work. For everyone. Justice isn't a miracle. It's a fight. And Marcus Reed became the reason corruption can't sleep easy anymore. If stories like his inspire you, if you believe that truth deserves a voice, if you want to see more battles where the underestimated rise and the powerful fall, white right pointing backhand index, subscribe now, because this is just one victory in a much bigger war, and you don't want to miss the next chapter.